Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the September Heartland Continuum of Care General Membership Meeting. If you haven't already, please do throw your name and your organization or what brings you here in the chat. We're really grateful for you all being a part of the general membership and being here this morning. We've got a lot to jump into, and so we'll get started. The first item of business would be the minutes from the July meeting. Those were sent out this week to the general membership. We would entertain any comments on edits needed or a motion to approve.
I can make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Jane. We have a second.
I'll second it. Amy.
Thanks, Amy. Appreciate it. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Well, this morning we're grateful to have Foluke Akani from Housing Action Illinois with us to talk to us about the work and the advocacy efforts of Housing Action Illinois. So Foluke, I will stop sharing and allow you to share your presentation, and we really appreciate you being with us this morning.
Great, thanks, Josh. Good morning, everybody. I'm gonna try to see if I can share my screen quickly. Can everybody see the slides?
Yes.
Sweet, thanks. So like Josh said, I'm Foluke Akani with Housing Action Illinois. I'm the housing policy organizer. I'll just be going through who we are as an organization, also what our advocacy is, our programs, and then also talk about the last General Assembly session, what was passed, and then also our memberships. And if you have any questions, I can answer them as we go along or at the end as well. So we, Housing Action Illinois, we're a statewide organization. We've been around for about 35 years. Our mission is to end homelessness, but also to create affordable, accessible housing across the state. We're a coalition membership organization, so we have over 170 members across the state. And we use those coalitions and our coalitions and our memberships and our partnership to work on homelessness issues and homeownership issues as well. I think we're the only statewide organization that goes from the spectrum of ending homelessness also into like homeownership as well. Just to give you a brief snapshot of our staff. These are the staff members that I get to work with, my colleagues I get to work with as well. So I'll talk about the America Vista program and then also our capacity building program. And then I work in the policy and advocacy team. So I'll talk about our policy and advocacy as well. So our America Vista program is also part of our capacity building. We help to connect organizations to America members. They're kind of like Peace Corps members, kind of Peace Corps domestically. So how I try to describe them. But they have a year of service where they can address any type of various needs an organization has, any challenges, and they help to build capacity for that organization. We also have our capacity building team that does housing, that is an intermediary for housing counseling agencies. They also do one-on-ones and guidance for developers, nonprofits, and then do some individual coaching and technical assistance for agencies that need that. And then I work in the policy and advocacy team, and our goal is to, again, educate people about policies, but also pass policies that help to end homelessness and create affordable housing and access to affordable housing. So with the General Assembly that ended in May of this year, in the state budget, in the Home Illinois Home Illinois budget that was newly created, we were able to have an increase of $90 million for the FY25 budget that is now giving a total of $290.3 million in the Home Illinois line budget. $75 million of that is going towards the court-based rental assistance. For those of you who were here over 4 years ago or so, the state created this COP rental, the emergency rental assistance through Apple funds, and then the COP-based rental assistance to help to prevent evictions. So that is a program that the state wants to continue to run, and is being run by IDA. Again, the program provides up to $10,000 in funding for tenants and landlords who have pending cases in eviction court, and then also may cover up to 18 months of emergency rental payments. The program, I believe, is supposed to be starting up soon. I know they had ended applications in May of this year, but from what we heard from Hyder, it's supposed to be starting sometime in mid-September. So yeah, so we'll hopefully get more clarity on if that program has started or not, but it should be starting pretty soon. With the $90 million, $13 million goes towards initiative to against reduce racial disparities, especially around Black residents in Illinois. So we had a report that says Black residents in Illinois are 8 times more likely to experience homelessness than white residents. So the $13 million of this initiative in this Illinois budget is going towards reducing that racial disparities, doing new transitional housing, rapid rehousing programs, and also helping support returning citizens. Also in the home Illinois budget, $5.4 million is going towards homeless prevention program. And then also $1.5 million is going to the homeless youth program. $5 million is going to this One System initiative. And it's going to be coordinated with efforts in Chicago to help create a one system where I guess migrants and also folks who have lived here who has had experiences, long experiences with homelessness can have one system that would help to address those issues and of homelessness. So kind of going back again from like FY24 and 25, we had FY24, we had the largest increase around homeless programs in the budget. And then with this year, we had an additional increase again with the Home Illinois program. There's also a program that went last year, we had the increase for, no, last year, FY24, we had the increase for largest increase for emergency shelters and initiatives that would include rapid rehousing and scattered site supportive services, scattered site supportive housing, and then also shelter diversion. So we were able to kind of build upon that with that $90 million in the Home Illinois budget. This is a quick snapshot of the FY25 budget. So we have the Home Illinois budget that also has the COP-based rental assistance and also access to counselor. That's a pilot program that gives folks who are in eviction court the opportunity to have like a representative, a lawyer, somebody from the legal field to represent them in the court. But in the general revenue fund over here, most of the programming, it seems to be going towards the Home Illinois new budget line item, but not the general revenue fund. And most of them were mostly flight funded because you see those increases in the Home Illinois budget. But if you can add the total, I guess, from the Home Illinois budget line item also to the general revenue fund, you can see there's been some major increases by the state to address
yeah, but what's the
homelessness.
is there any topic we'd like to have into
To address homelessness, and then also supportive housing and needs around homelessness as well. One thing I will mention, and I think more of it will be talked about in our conference as well, is that we are part of the coalition that helped to pass the Illinois Community Reinvestment Act that helped the state have better state regulation around financial institutions, and also help to create more of an inclusive system when it comes to lending and investments for folks who need that, for folks who are trying to, I guess, get that loan to be first-time home buyers, or get that loan to get first-time home buyers. There was a disparity study that was passed in the General Assembly this year. That was we had chief sponsors from Senator Chris Belt, and then also from Representative Sonia Apple, who are chief sponsors to help to pass the disparity studies. There is gonna be, I think next week, no, actually this Friday, there's gonna be September 20th, there's gonna be I guess an update about the Illinois CRA and also the federal CRA. We're doing a webinar on Friday about those Illinois CRA and then the updates on the federal CRA as well. One thing to also mention is that the tenant protection bill was passed. This was mostly led by our partners at CCH. They helped the Landlord Retaliation Act that helped to, again, it was a law that was created in 2008, but helps to strengthen that law against helping to protect tenants against any landlord retaliation, especially when a tenant's asking for just basic repairs for their homes. This helps to actually strengthen that and also puts like some penalties into that law, financial penalties. Our current advocacy, we're still finalizing that, but we do know that we're going to be, again, doing the state budget advocacy. Right now, I'm doing some informational gathering around with the emergency transitional housing with the HCH program. So some folks might have seen my email already that asking for some more information about the program and your current needs and advocacy needs. Feel free to fill that survey. You can reach out to me and I can definitely have a conversation about what your needs might be. And then we're also thinking about ways to, we've had, and I know, probably Josh, you're going to talk about it later in this agenda, but we also have had folks around the state because of the Grant Pass and Johnson's implications. Folks at some cities and municipalities are trying to pass ordinances to ban encampments. So we're thinking about how to do that statewide. We have the Homeless Bill of Rights. There's also different avenues that we can take to propose a bill for the General Assembly in the next session in January. And then we're also going to be continuing our work with the Community Safeties and Stable Homes Act that helps to address crime-free housing and nuisance ordinances around the state. One of our things that we have is that we have a membership benefits. So we're coalition based. We have membership, and if folks want to learn more about that, I can put that in the chat after I'm done. But we do have discounts for folks who want to take part in our Housing Matters conference. Our conference is going to be held this year in Bloomington, October 17th and 18th. The membership benefits also includes one-on-one guidance for housing counseling experts. You're able to participate in our America Vista program, and then also networking opportunities and membership highlights for your organization as well. Again, we do have the Housing Matters Conference in October in Bloomington. So if you do want to register for that, I'll put that in the chat. It's a great way to kind of meet folks across the state who are doing similar work or learn more about what's happening around the state when it comes to different aspects of work. I think that's all I have. Thank you. I don't know if folks have any questions.
Yeah, Feluca, I got a question. First and foremost, thanks for all the work that Housing Action Illinois does. The advocacy, the education, the pulse, you guys really keep your hands on the pulse of everything kind of going on, and we benefit from it enormously. I want to recommend everyone in the Zoom, if you are able to attend the October conference in Bloomington, just a ton of value doing it. I've gone the last 3 years, learned a ton, met a ton of the key stakeholders doing the work at a state level, at the community level, and just getting to meet those people that care deeply about our mission is wonderful. Feluca, I just wanted to ask, do you know when the court-based rental census is supposed to start this year, or when the funds will be reissued? Have you heard?
Yeah, I mean, so last that we had from IDA and from folks is supposed to start today, the 19th. But I'm not I know that they've been pushing it back. They've been saying early September, mid-September. So I'm not quite sure. So that's something I will probably reach out to some of our partners in IDA to again ask about. But It says it's supposed to be starting pretty soon.
Well, thanks so much again for joining us, Luke. We really appreciate,
Thanks,
you know,
Luke,
everything you
yeah.
guys do. So seriously.
Thanks, Nick, and thanks for the kind words. So I definitely see you, hopefully in Bloomington. And
You will.
sweet.
Anybody else have a good question for Luke?
Well, I would put the links in the chat, but if folks have any questions, I'll also put my email as well. But thanks again for having me, and I'll see most of you probably in Bloomington in October. So thank you.
We look forward to it. Thanks for being with us. All right. I'll share my screen again. We'll move on to the next item on the agenda.
Josh, can I just throw in, I guess there's some people that haven't really put into the chat. It's like we had people join that didn't, because I always look.
I'm gonna scroll down.
See if there's somebody to connect with.
Yeah, as Jane's saying, if you're here on the meeting, we'd love for you to just throw your name in the chat, and that just helps us keep attendance and helps people connect with each other and network. So thanks for that, Jane. Appreciate it. All right. Get Zoom to cooperate with me here real quick.
October 17th is when the conference is, Rosa, just as a heads up, okay? The 17th and the 18th.
Excellent. All right, well, the next item on our agenda, we know that several of you as community partners have been really tuned in to things happening in our city, and in particular, over Labor Day weekend, the emergence of an ordinance on public camping. So we just wanted to provide just a little bit of update if you weren't tuned in to what was happening there. Oh, actually, I had a slide, but maybe I didn't get it in. All right, one moment. There it is. Okay. Just to kind of give you a little bit of background on sort of what took place and where we are, on the Sunday of Labor Day weekend, I think several of us on the Heartland House team started getting text messages that there was a camping ban ordinance on emergency passage. As we looked into it, the ordinance, it really mirrored an ordinance that was created by the Illinois Municipal League. And it's one that, we've seen kind of pop up over the last couple of months, especially in several communities, Peoria, East Alton, Feluke, probably Housing Action Illinois has been one of the organizations really kind of, with their hand on the pulse of what's happening there and providing support to organizations. So as we immediately started to read into the ordinance and ask a lot of questions, out of the gate, we certainly felt like that there needed to be a lot more thought given to the ordinance before anybody would consider passing it. And so we began having those types of conversations. The Continuum of Care Board met. We mobilized the Lived Experience Advisory Board, the Street Outreach Task Group. All of these groups were, mobilizing responses, weighing in, sharing their thoughts on the ordinance. The Continuum of Care Board released this statement that basically found the ordinance to be, to put it lightly, counterproductive to the efforts that our community has really engaged in over the last couple of years. So with that in mind, in continued conversations, the following week, the ordinance was withdrawn. So we're in the place now of trying to figure out what happens next. At this point, we've not been engaged in meaningful conversation about the future of the ordinance, if it's been dropped completely or if it will reemerge. So we're continuing at the continuum of care level to try to figure that piece of it out, but also to look around the country and sort of see how other responses are unfolding. So really just sort of wanted to make a little space here for you all. We know a lot of y'all reached out to us during that time. A lot of you reached out to your elected officials and did advocated for what you thought was best. You know, as we gather as a general membership, we'd love to hear, you know, any questions you have. We may not have the answer to, but if there's any comments you want to make, we want to open the floor for that now.
I guess I would just continue to urge you to keep Josh trying to get a meeting with the stakeholders in the city. I know you haven't been able to be successful at this point, but don't give up the fight.
Jane?
This is Ramona Bonberg. Could someone explain, and I know I've heard different things about how this came about. What was the intention behind it, and the intention or the purpose?
Yeah, all I could speak into on that is sort of what was shared at City Council. In the week prior to the release of the ordinance, there was a series of tragic events at near 5th or 6th and North Grand. There was an incident where there was an overdose and someone passed away. There was another incident where a person drove their vehicle onto a curb and struck people there. So as that was talked about at the city council meeting, the reason for bringing the ordinance forward, and I didn't mention that these ordinances are in response to a Supreme Court ruling earlier this summer that kind of gave municipalities, police forces, the ability to kind of get this power of moving people and finding and arresting if they need to. So those two, as it was talked about, you know, those two incidences were seen as you know, part of the rationale for pushing this forward.
Okay, thank you.
Well, we won't hang out here too long. I guess what we want you all to know, you know, we'll do everything we can to continue to engage in conversation and engage in conversations about solutions that we think ultimately can, you know, help our community have a more effective system to address homelessness, which plays out in less people experiencing unsheltered homelessness. So those are conversations our community has been having for the last couple of years, and we'll certainly keep pushing on those. But our place right now, we're sort of expecting that the conversation will probably reemerge at some point. We just don't know when or exactly what that'll look like, but we'll do our best to keep you all informed as well. Okay. The next item, and I'm gonna need to stop share and reshare here. On our website, over the last month, we've released a new data dashboard. So we want to give you a moment just to see that. All right. And give you an opportunity to ask any questions you might have about it. All right. So when you go to our website, you go to the What We Do tab, and you'll see here the Built for Zero community dashboard. And that is going to pop up this image here. So the background here is that the Heartland Continuum of Care, Heartland House, we've been working with Community Solutions now for almost a year, and we've been engaged in their Built for Zero technical assistance. Community Solutions, you all have likely heard of that organization before. That's the organization that helped Rockford, Illinois reach functional zero homelessness for those experiencing chronic homelessness and veterans. They're working with communities all across the country. So we were really grateful to get the opportunity to work with them. The opportunity came through some of the work that our state government has done through the Office to Prevent and End Homelessness. So it's one of the ways that new initiative at the state level has had a significant impact locally. So the work that we've been doing over the last year has been around achieving what's called quality data. In a sense, what we want to do as a community is to be able to know in as real time of a way as possible how many people are experiencing homelessness, how many people are entering the homelessness system each year, and how many are exiting, and where are they exiting to? Are they exiting to housing placements? Are they exiting to what would be called inactive status, where we just have not had touches with them in 90 days? Historically, the way that communities kind of keep their finger on the pulse of some of these dynamics would be through the point in time count. The point in time count, you all hear us push about this every January. That's where we go out on one night, usually in the last 10 days of January, and we do a survey. We conduct a count of all people experiencing unsheltered homelessness. And then we also count all people in transitional housing programs, emergency shelter programs, and those that are in hotels paid for by organizations. So it gives us, on a one night, here's how many people we think, as best as we can tell, are experiencing homelessness. The goal with this effort is to, on a month by month basis, really operate what's called a by names list, where as a community, we're using our homeless management information system, and we're really working across all our collaborative partners to know how many people are experiencing homelessness, and to know what the level of need is, so that we can continue to create programs that can help them exit homelessness. So part of that data question is kind of comes to, when you look at this graph here. So the first part here says 592 people were actively homeless in August of 24. I just said in earlier this year, our point in time count was 388. This number is obviously a bit higher than that. And there's a couple reasons for that. One would be that this number includes every person in shelter, every person in transitional housing, all of those that street outreach teams who collect data are engaging with. And it really kind of is a 90-day revolving window. So instead of being just a point in time count, this number is getting at how many people have touched the system in the last 90 days. So we are still, you can see in July when we entered the data, it was up above 739. Our team, our HMIS administrator, have been doing a lot of work to really go case by case throughout our database and make sure that this information is up to date as possible. So there's still some work going on, I think, to get us to a more accurate number. But we felt like it was important to go ahead and begin pushing this out into the community so that the community can see what's here and begin to understand this part of the work that we're doing. One of the pieces that, and again, I think as we go month by month, the more data that we get and the more data that we're able to visualize in the graph, the more helpful it'll be to the community. But one of the things that I think is especially helpful is inflow and outflow. So if we are trying to reach functional zero as a community, we're trying to create a community where the outflow is always more than the inflow, where we're helping more people exit homelessness than are entering into it. And that's ultimately how we get towards functional zero and create an effective system to address homelessness. So what you can see here, and again, I encourage you to go on your own device, and you'll be able to, if you hover over these things, it'll tell you on the inflow, sort of how did that inflow happen? Was it a return from housing, a return from the inactive list? Is it a new person touching our system? And then on the outflow, similar, it'll give you an idea there of how many people were moved to inactive. So how many people touched the system but then didn't in the next 90 days. How many people were, or what percentage were placed in housing? So they got access to housing through the community services and programs. If you listen to some of the current commentary in the community, it would almost lead you to believe that organizations aren't doing much work to house people. But I would suggest that this would be one piece of evidence that that's absolutely not the case. In August of this year, there were 43 housing placements, and you can see going back, that number has fluctuated some, and in a community like ours, some of these low points can have to do with staffing transition and things like that can really cause an organization to have to pause programs or things like that. But the housing providers in the continuum of care are doing tremendous work, and we think that this data dashboard helps to show that. So the other thing I'll just point out to you without reading it to you, because I don't think you'll appreciate that, but my computer is not, well, here we go. If you scroll down, if you have a lot of questions about what this is or what some of this means, if you scroll down, there's kind of a narrative of why do we have this? How did we get it? But then when you go below that, there's some questions. So, what matrix are used for the data dashboard? What does inflow mean? You can see all of that there. And what we would love, especially for you all to do as you engage with this, if you have questions, please let us know. Ask questions, because that helps us figure out how to better communicate what this is to the broader community. And this is something that our intention with this is to pull it up at every single general membership meeting. So to make this just a steady part of our agenda. We'll do the same thing with the Continuum of Care Board of Directors, and we'll do the same thing with the Heartland House Strategy Board, so that the community is really sort of month by month having an understanding of inflow and outflow and what the real dynamics are in the community. I'll pause there and just see if there's any questions on this or comments right now.
Josh.
Yes, ma'am.
It's Tracy. I want to point something out about that 592 number, since a lot of the people that are on this meeting are not necessarily part of a lot of the other meetings. That doesn't mean that there's 592 actively homeless people living on the streets. A lot that pulls from our entire coordinated entry listing. A lot of those people are like couch hopping, maybe staying with family members, and they're going to be out soon. I just really wanted to kind of clarify that also includes like all transitional housing, all emergency shelter housing, all hotel motel housing, etc. So I just didn't want people to think that, yes, we have 600 people on the streets, when we really don't technically have 600 people living on the streets.
Appreciate that, Tracy.
I have a
Does this
question.
include youth?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just wondering, does this data include youth? Is this just?
Yes.
It includes, yeah. So HUD's definition of youth goes up to age 24, so 18 to 24. So anybody, so let's say, it includes youth for organizations that add data to HMIS, Marcia. So again, you hear us out in the community pushing on that and encouraging that all the time, because it gives us a more real picture of what's happening. Youth Service Bureau has youth shelter. So as they enter data for these programs, right, that data is included here. If anybody does coordinated entry with youth, again, that's another space that would or street outreach with youth, all of those, and they collect data and put it in HMIS. All of those would be pathways that youth are included in this as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem. Ramon, I think you had a comment or question as well.
Yeah. So, I'm just wondering, and this is a very basic question, and it can be answered another time if appropriate. But I'm just wondering, I am aware of families and children who are homeless, and I guess I get a plethora of wonderful information at these meetings, but it kind of at the end of the day, like when I encounter people, I don't know who to tell them to call. Like if there's someone who can help somebody navigate, calling numerous shelters, what answers they got. I mean, that, somebody that would help, like, where would they start? Like when you call the Heartland Continuum of Care, you get, it triggers voicemails, to leave a voicemail, but then you can't, or at least I can't tell, like from the person, if you want to reach so-and-so who does whatever their title is, it's not clear what that title means that they do. So I'm not sure like how your typical person who's Like I know a family who just recently became unhoused. But I didn't know who to actually tell them to talk to.
Yeah, yeah, great question. I mean, one, you can use the contact us on the webpage. I mean, they can call and our teammates all work very well together. If it does go to voicemail, that call won't be dropped. Folks will collaborate and make sure they get them to the right person. The other piece is that we've recently soft launched what we're calling the housing helpline. And if I'll ask somebody else to put that in the chat. Nope, already there. So that number we're in the process now of connecting that to 211. 211 again is another resource depending on the person's situation that can help connect them to available organizations in the community and ask questions about shelter. So that would be one piece, right? You have 211 option. The housing helpline, this operates more during normal business hours. But if a person is, facing eviction, they can call that number. They'll get an intake that will help connect them with any program they're eligible for. Obviously one of the challenges in the community is that sometimes there are no resources available or the resources aren't adequate to meet the needs. And so if that's the case, the helpline will give them information about shelters and other options that exist. The other piece is that the resources page on our website is something that our team continuously updates. And so, this is the helpline I would strongly encourage folks to connect with. 211, again, would be another thing to seriously try. Our staff would be very happy to help people navigate any challenges as well. So those are three options I would lift up.
Okay. And have we ever had anyone from the Department of Children and Family Services as part of this? Because I believe they have certain allocations of funds for cases they're involved with. So there'd be families with children, obviously, and then homeless teens. Have they had any connection into this group to coordinate services?
They do participate in our youth homelessness task group each month.
Okay.
So, yeah, and then I know Fifth Street Renaissance, other organizations have connections there as well. And then our organizations that serve families work closely with those resources as well.
Okay. So is there like a brochure or something that's very easy to read, that's more visual and not a lot of words, but could help somebody in a crisis, that would be easy for just your average citizen to give to someone and help explain?
So this basic needs card is our best effort of that. We print these kind of in poster form, but also in kind of cards that can be passed out. We would welcome feedback on, I think one of the things we're very interested in is doing whatever we can to help people navigate services. So, if you find this too complex or not helpful, we'd be happy to get any feedback on this to improve on it too.
So is there anyone that can help somebody, for example, who is who has persistent mental health conditions, substance abuse, whatever, that can actually help them navigate through that card? Because I know it seems very straightforward to me, but I know having worked with my brother and other individuals who don't have that capacity, do they have anyone who can mentor them or help them? I don't know so much mentor, but walk with them side by side, give them, what we call giving people space, walk with them on that journey.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that is what case management staff does at every organization in the continuum, so I think, street outreach workers do the same thing. So I think it might just be a matter of Memorial Behavioral Health has a PATH team that really works great in that space as well. So probably just a matter of probably finding what the person might be comfortable with, and then kind of getting that on the radar of organizations so that they can work together and really figure out how to outreach and do whatever they can to build that relationship and help do that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Anything else on the data dashboard? Okay. So the next thing, as we look at the data dashboard, as we follow up on conversations about the camping ban ordinance, one of the things that we want to make sure that we're doing and doing more effectively as a community is to communicate the level of need. I think as you look at public conversations that pop up, especially in the climate that we've had the last month, one of the things that often emerges is, hey, there's a lot of people experiencing homelessness. Why aren't our organizations doing anything? What are they doing with all the funding that they get? And so, one of the things that we're working on communicating and trying to put in as succinct of a visual form as possible is what the level of need is. What's the gap for supportive housing? Our community in 2019, our community was able to support 94 people in supportive housing. In 2023, that number was up to 245. And so far this year, at about right now, that number, so far the continuum has supported 244 people in supportive housing with the rest of the year ahead of us. So we've seen growth in our organizations. And a big part of that growth is through, again, the state of Illinois' Home Illinois strategic plan, but also the state of Illinois, and Feluke was talking about that. Housing Action Illinois has been a big part of that. SHPA, other organizations have advocated for growing the resources to grow these programs, and the state last year allocated over $1.1 million to the continuum of care to create new programs. And that's a big part of us achieving that growth from 94 people in 2019 to 244 people in 2023. So as we look at what lies ahead, as we look at the number of people who are actively homeless, one of the things is that we have to continuously communicate to community stakeholders what the gap is. Right now there are 240 households on the coordinated entry plan. As we plan for fundraising or growing programs for single person households, we anticipate it costs around $15,000 a year to support a single person household in housing. For a family, that number bumps up to 20 just because of the rent needed to house additional family members. So as we look at our coordinated entry list, we have a gap of between 1.5 and $2 million annually that's needed to create the supportive housing opportunities that our community needs. So we kind of want to put that out there this morning. We're going to continue to work on how to communicate that as simply and effectively as possible and put it in image form. But we want you to know that as a general membership too. I think and different efforts we're a part of. One of the frustrations that pops up is, well, why aren't people getting housing opportunities? Why are people experiencing homelessness for as long as they do? And the reality is it's in part a resource issue. We've got to help our organizations. We have to help our community grow new supportive housing programs in order to house people more quickly. And if we intend to reach functional zero by 2028, that 1.5 to 2 million gap, that's not just a one-time gap, right? These resources are going to be needed year over year is a crucial part of getting there. So we want you to know that the dashboard, all of these things are an effort to better communicate that. And as we continue to work on that communication, we are also updating the community ambassador training. We pushed that out probably about 3 years ago. It was prior to the strategic plan. Nick especially has done a lot of work to go back through it and say, what was effective then, or what were we communicating then versus now on the other side of the strategic plan, where are we? We're incorporating a lot of this communication into that community ambassador training, and we intend to push it out in October. And so we hope that that will be a tool for you all, and also as you work with folks in the community to just kind of let them know about the current state of the work that's happening, but also the current state of the need that exists in the community too. So wanted to give you an update on that. And with that, we'll move to agency updates. So I'd love to hear from you all. What is happening in your organizations? What would you like to share with the general membership this month?
I just wanted to mention, this is Ramona again, I'm sorry. The Together Church on North Grand, we have a Bible study every Wednesday evening. However, there is a meal before that. Anyone is welcome. And if you want to enjoy your meal and leave, that's fine. It's not, an attempt to lure anyone into a Bible study. And we do have people that will come and join us and eat and leave. That's perfectly okay. We also have people in the Bible study who, or at the meal, who are currently living in some kind of transitional housing. And one of the reasons I go there, is not because I'm a member of the church. I've been going for about a year, is because the doors really are open to a lot of people. And with my experience with dealing with persistent and chronic and ongoing serious mental health issues, I can sit and have spaghetti right next to me as somebody who, may or may be saying things that other people would feel uncomfortable with because maybe they're not so much based in reality. But that's fine with me. Um, I just think they do try to do a monthly food giveaway. Um, I think more of these kinds of things, and I know it's informal and um, there might be a space for it. But they do it extremely well. And I just wanted to point that out. So we sit and have a meal with people that are unhoused or in transition. We had someone yesterday evening that was unhoused. But the reason I was asking for more concrete information is that I really don't have anything to hand anybody or to give anybody that would be easy or to, and I'm always happy to give out my cell phone number. But I think, most people in these circumstances, they really need somebody that I don't think it necessarily has to be somebody with an agency. I would be happy to help a certain amount of people just, well, let's make a few calls and, just whatever they're comfortable with, kind of letting them take the lead. Just, being a natural support, basically.
Any other updates this morning?
Josh, this is David. Sangamon County, LIHEAP will start statewide October the 1st. Here in Sangamon County, we're taking appointments now. You can go online at sangamonil.gov and make an appointment, or you can call us and one of our staff members will help you make that appointment. The first month is designed for seniors, families with a child under the age of 5, or anyone with a disconnect notice. And then starting in November, it opens to all. Of course, everyone has to meet the income guidelines as well. And there is a new discount program from Ameren for Ameren Gas. Anyone who was part of LIHEAP last year will automatically be enrolled. They'll see that on their bills they receive starting in October, not in September, but October. And depending on how many people are in the household and their income, it could be a discount up to 90% off their Ameren gas. Not electric. This does not affect the electric rates at this time, just the gas rates for Ameren only, not for any other utility. in the county. We work with about 15 different utilities in Sangamon County right now, which includes propane and gas, as well as electric. So, but if anyone wants to make an appointment, and if they meet the priority requirements, we can see them in October. Otherwise, we can meet with them starting in November.
Excellent, Dave. Thank you.
Hey, Dave.
What-
Sorry, Josh.
Go ahead.
The Ameren thing, you guys are doing that with Ameren, or they have to go directly to Ameren?
Nope, we're coordinating it with Ameren.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
In the chat, Alexis has put some information about a SOAR conference that's happening on, or webinar that's happening on October 8th. If you're not familiar with SOAR, it's a process to help people connect with SSI, SSDI, and it's proven to be incredibly effective. So if you're interested in learning more, Alexis is a wonderful resource, and she certainly could point you to additional resources like the webinar on the 8th. I think we have one more update unless anybody else has anything else they want to throw out there this week.
Well, I don't know if this is the right time, but I just wanted to say, in light of our robust discussion today about those individuals who have experienced homelessness, I wanted to let everybody know that we are hosting a peer leadership development workshop in Springfield on October 23rd, 24th, and 25th. And there's really 3 simple requirements for peers, as we call them. They must have experienced homelessness, willing to commit to the 3-day workshop in its entirety, and have not taken one before. They've become so popular, people want to do a repeat. The purpose of the workshop is to gain leadership skills to help with speaking to city council, to help with trying to advocate for your peers who are still experiencing homelessness. And we've done great work with the Springfield area. And so this workshop is taught by peers who have experienced homelessness for those individuals who want more leadership skills. So I provided the Continuum, your Heartland House folks, with a flyer that is either already been distributed or will be shortly. And I'll be reaching out to providers and individuals separately. I'm going to drop my email in the chat. And if anybody has any questions or would like the flyer for people to sign up, it will be open. The intent form will be open through October 4th. And so far, we've had a robust response. And this is for the entire central region. So thank you for your time.
Several members of our Lived Experience Advisory Board have participated in those and have found them incredibly helpful. So Susan, you do incredible work with that. All right. Anybody else, any public comment before we share just a quick new initiative with you? All right, I'm gonna hand it to Nick and he's gonna talk about the Welcome Home Basket Initiative.
Yeah, so I'll keep it short, but one thing we're recognizing as people are getting housed is that several folks are entering housing without supportive services. So they're not in permanent supportive housing, they're not in rapid rehousing. And what sometimes happens then is there is not a ton of, or if any, funding for some of those basic needs they have. So we have this Welcome Home Basket Initiative because on average around 20 to 30 households, enter housing and some of those folks without those support need us. So we are starting to collect baskets of goods for these individuals. Heartland House will provide you with a laundry basket, and then we have a list of items that we need, or that our neighbors need for their new homes to help manage their homes. And if you can support us on this, email us, call us. Josh and I will be going to one of the local churches on the 29th to talk to them about it. If you know of any other groups or organizations that might be interested in this, please let us know. Because there are a lot of folks that are entering housing and could use a little bit of this TLC. So if there's any questions, love to, talk to you, call me, email us. But we do have a great PDF. It's a one sheet that explains this. It's very similar to what you see right now. Would be glad to send it to you. And if you've got 2 or 3 friends that want to do this, it's really not that expensive. I know that all the items are pretty easily accessible at the Dollar General, including, you know, top to bottom. So you can really knock out quite a few basic needs for folks in one location for a pretty fair price. And if you're not able to do it with, you know, new items, gently used items that are in good shape are acceptable as well. So just wanted to invite anyone and everyone into this initiative. We need everyone's help. You know, it does take a village, and we just don't have a ton of funding for some of these needs for folks that aren't in programs, but we still want to support them any way we can. And we think this basket, you know, giving them a laundry basket with all these items is going to be a really helpful move in the right direction.
Nick, send that out to me as a PDF or something I can send out to my list, please, or.
You got it.
Yeah, and at my church, thanks.
Absolutely.
We'll send it out to the general membership along with some of the other resources mentioned here today.
If we have items to donate, where would they go? To your office?
We're kind of asking for completed baskets to come to our office. So we don't,
okay.
Yeah. Don't necessarily have
Gotcha.
the person or staff power to do the assembling and all of that, but we could hold baskets, and we anticipate them to move quickly. So completed baskets can be, we can take those. All right.
Are we free to share this, what you put up here, and the need for baskets with like my husband's in the 4th degree Knights of Columbus, and I'm in the Ladies Auxiliary, and we have other, you know, things we do. Is this something we can share with those groups? And
we are happy for all of this to be shared as far and wide as possible.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Send it to too many people, please. You can send it to your entire phone list. If you want to text all your friends, I encourage it.
Thanks,
awesome.
Ramona.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Nick, on that the screen here, can I add something to this? Your very last line on the right says, please only include items that are in good condition. Can you also put in clean? Being that I work at an agency, we get a lot of things, and people just assume that we have the ability to wash everything that they bring to us. And we get so much sometimes that we don't necessarily have that ability.
Sure.
I would be happy. I could do a couple loads a day. I've had Julie Benson bring me bags of people who have donated dirty socks. I'm more than happy to put them in my front loader, disinfect them, fold them, and have them nice and ready for whoever would like to pick those up. And I could do 2 or 3 loads a week.
It's really kind, Ramona. Thank you.
Nick, if someone short on time and can't go shopping, can we send a check, and who would we send it to, and what would be the amount for a basket?
You know, oddly enough, my girlfriend went to the Dollar General and bought everything on the list for about $68, roughly. And that was the original list that I had made. So it's changed a little bit since then, within a few degrees, but around $68 to $75, $80, I think is a pretty good estimate per basket, to be honest. And that included the basket that had all the items in it.
Dave, it's a good insight too. We'll add some information to that to the flyers.
Dollar amount.
Part of the benefit of throwing it out to you all.
Thank you for that.
Getting some
Great lens there, Dave.
And then add who the check would be made out to and where it should be sent.
You got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And also where they could drop off the baskets, and the fact that you don't want individual items but completed baskets.
Perfect. Great items. Great info here, guys.
All right. Well, we've hit 10 o'clock. I know I start to see some people trickle out to other events on their calendar. We're really grateful for you all spending this time with us. This video will be posted to YouTube. We'll be sending out information to you all from the meeting. But again, I appreciate you all, appreciate your partnership. And if there's a motion to adjourn, we'll call this one done.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Jane. Have a great day, everybody. Appreciate you.
Thank you.